one, regardless of their color. No one, regardless of their skin tone, should have endured what this family has endured. Someone must answer, someone must be held accountable, and we want justice for this family.
We held a press conference a couple of weeks ago demanding transparency from Kenosha Police Department, demanding that body cam footage is released immediately. We want full transparency. Today is the 3rd anniversary when Jacob Blake was shot viciously 7 times in the back by Officer Rustin Shesky. So clearly, not much has changed in the last 3 years. It's just unfortunate that we're here before you again with another young African-American family whose child witnessed their parents harmed, as Jacob's children witnessed him shot in the back 7 times. This has to stop. So we're working together to finally bring some resolve. We're asking for our elected officials, from the governor on down, the Attorney General Paul, we need you to speak out. We need you to say something. You know what's happening in Kenosha, and your silence is complicit, and we're not standing for that. So we're going to do all that we can with all the resources that we have locally and nationally to bring justice to this family and to bring justice to this community. Because the question needs to be asked, are you safe in this community as a black or brown person? And right now, I don't feel safe, and it doesn't appear that we're safe here.
We've been asking for quite some time for, as Clyde McLemore gets ready to come, we've been asking for quite some time, as this is the anniversary of Jacob Blake's shooting, for this police department, sheriff's department, and this county to be investigated for pattern and practice. We know the pattern and practice. It is almost as if there is a triangle between Kenosha, Racine, and Wauwatosa. A triangle where if you're black and brown and you encounter law enforcement, the results could be horrific and life-ending. And once again, we'll be appealing to the Department of Justice. It's important that the Attorney General now, for a 1-year-old child, to hear the call of this community asking for an independent investigation into these matters. This child is 1 year old on the anniversary of Jacob Blake. And imagine the stories will be told the rest of his life. Imagine the trauma that he'll go through in his family for the rest of his life, knowing that this incident occurred to him. Those of us who have had these things happen to us, being pulled over, being harassed, those of us who have had this happen to us, called the N-word, or received some form of discrimination as such, we live with these bruises and scars for the rest of our lives. We must now make Kenosha the place where change takes place and people can be made whole. Clyde McLemore.
Clyde McLemore, C-L-Y-D-E-M-C, capital L-E-M-O-R-E, Original Director for Black Lives Matter, station out in Oakland. Live in Zion, where his family is from. Not only are we calling for justice for this family, we also calling for the state's attorney here in Kenosha to drop all charges against the father. He was not the person to have that accident. He shouldn't have been charged with anything. And we asking that the city and the state of the city of Kenosha drop all charges against the father of this immediately.
And the mother.
And the mother. We want charges against both of them dropped. Thank you.
There is no question that this involved a racial issue. But I'm going to appeal to everybody else, okay? Because if your child was in your arms and your child got pepper sprayed, I don't care if you're black, white, brown, how would you feel if you knew your child's head was banged against the cabinet unnecessarily, your child got pepper sprayed, your child who's barely over 1 year old and you don't know the future consequences because police officers overreacted to a situation. This doesn't have to be a black and brown issue. This is a people issue. It is a black and brown issue here, but it doesn't need to be, because this is people are people and should be treated with respect. And the problem we have in Kenosha, which is a lot of the problems we're seeing around the country, is the lack of respect. When this happened to this poor family, I was on trial up in Minnesota against police officers who killed a man, where the jury came back and decided that they were liable for their actions in this particular case. Meanwhile, I'm hearing from this family at the same time what's going on back down here, not only a couple hours away. This is a terrible, terrible tragedy, and I've warned people in other counties, in Waukegan, I've warned them in other states. When you see patterns of officers like this, they're gonna kill somebody. The accident that happened with pepper spray, the next accident will be a gun. I'm warning Kenosha. I'm warning this group. Not that it hasn't happened in the past, but it's gonna happen again in the future if they don't take action now.